Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today is... we have here the Empress in its reversal. Now, you may recall that we did see that there were some issues going through right now between the feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy specifically right now, what we're really seeing is feminine energy is going through a moment that they are trying to protect their heart space. We saw here that there were some anxieties as it related to the feminine energy feeling like they could be their most full, authentic expression of self at this time. And what the feminine has been doing is they've been putting up a lot of boundaries, healthy boundaries, as they proceed forward from this point. For feminine energy today, this could be feeling like there are some feelings of anxiety or difficulties as it relates to the heart space right now that they are trying to work through right now. Continuing to get clarification, while for masculine, this could be feeling like you are going through a moment right now that you are trying to navigate either in union with the feminine that is in this moment of feeling this emotional block as it relates to their own ability to come forward in that romantic way. Or this could be a lot of that expression that we saw yesterday with the masculine energy, feeling like there is a blockage from being able to move in the direction of a feminine energy that is their heart's desire, but isn't potentially necessarily available or open to them at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The second card that we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is... we've got here our 3 of Pentacles in its upright, which we love to see, because what this is really indicating, again, we see that there is this commitment right now to building strong, stable centers for both masculine and feminine energy at this moment. For feminine energy, this is, again, a lot of concentration in working into a space of creating this sense of stability as you go forward from this point. Feminine energy is moving through a lot of this emotional difficulty that they may be experiencing at this time, with a concentration on what feels secure, what feels stable, what is creating that sense of stability and security around them at this time. While for masculine energy, this is similarly a moment that you are putting a lot of care and orientation right now on building that strong supportive center for yourself at this moment. Again, either working in collaboration with the feminine energy to help shore up their own feelings of anxiety or uncertainty, potentially even navigating some of this emotional difficulty that the feminine energy may be experiencing at this moment as you continue to work to build this strong, stable foundation. Or masculine, you yourself, much like the feminine right now, not necessarily feeling like you are available, or the feminine energy that you're trying to move towards right now is available or receptive to you, putting a lot of focus on trying to build this stability for yourself at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, center card in our 5-card spread is... we've got here our 7 of Cups in its reversal. What we really appreciate here around this is there is a lot of focus right now on terms of what it is that you are truly desiring and truly seeking at this moment. For both masculine and feminine energy, there's a lot of work and dedication that we see is coming through right now as it relates to the cards that we are receiving. That there is a focus right now, a deep focus on keeping that orientation, keeping that direction on what it is that you are truly after, and not necessarily allowing yourself to be swayed or misled by anything that you feel could be a distraction point at this moment. As we saw with our cards of the day, we've been seeing, especially with that combination of the Magician card with the Page of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles in its reversal, there's been a lot of consideration that has been coming through right now as it relates to where you are putting your time, your effort, your energy. For both masculine and feminine energy, there is a level or degree of getting serious right now in terms of what it is that you're truly trying to manifest for yourself at this moment. For both energies right now, there is this orientation, there is this commitment that is coming through, feeling potentially like a veil has been lifted from your eyes to a certain extent, in the fact that you're not allowing yourself, again, to be navigated from spaces or places that are deviating you from your center. For both masculine and feminine right now, this is building this strong, stable foundation around yourself as you move from this point of clarity. For feminine, though, there is this moment that is feeling like a point of uncertainty, because while we see that the feminine energy is moving with this heavy degree of concentration on what it is that they're truly aspiring for at this moment, with a lot of work in terms of building a strong foundation around themselves at this time. There are some moments right now that feminine has been navigating, that we've been seeing over the last few days. Feelings of over concentration of vulnerability, doubts around their own abilities, doubts around that love of the self. This could either have come from past situations or scenarios that have put this point of vulnerability around the feminine energy at this time, or the feminine energy recognizing that they need to overcome or work through this internal hurdle of self-doubt as they continue to build this foundation around themselves at this moment. For feminine energy, this is a deep amount of a journey inwards, trying to reclaim your own sense of love, your own sense of appreciation for the self, finding that space where you feel that it is comfortable to express your emotionality and feeling like you are creating effectively that safe space for yourself as you proceed forward from this time. While for masculine energy, what we're really identifying at this moment is, again, you are working as well to build this foundation with a lot of clarity now in terms of what your purpose is, what that calling is that you are trying to pursue. You either working right now with a feminine energy that needs some assistance at this time. They're feeling or some expression of their own doubt in self. You are working to build this foundation, to create this assurance for this feminine energy as you work in collaboration to that unified goal and purpose, and building that strong foundation for both of you at this time. While for the masculine energy right now that is not in union, this could be feeling like more of a challenge area, because what we're identifying here is this could be feeling like there is a feminine energy through which you have this desire now. That something about this is you having a clarity of purpose, potentially even towards what feminine energy you are desiring to move towards right now, but feeling, as we've seen over the last few days, that something about this feminine energy is no longer accessible to you, or that they've cut off their kind of emotionality here. And this is you trying to work right now to build either towards that feminine energy some sense of stability, trying to refortify your own commitment in terms of the feminine energy, feeling like this is a safe space for them to be in their most authentic, vulnerable expression. For the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you are potentially taking this time to concentrate on your own purposes, on your own higher goal, building this sound foundation for yourself unilaterally and autonomously, due to the fact that the feminine energy you are recognizing has now helped you get this higher sense of purpose, but is now not necessarily accessible or available to you due to the journey that you have experienced with them thus far. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have coming through here the 4 of Wands in its reversal. So again, having to make, and this is giving us a lot of the energy that we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. There is a point of correction that needs to occur right now, potentially around the feminine and the masculine energy right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, it is not a question in terms of what it is that you are truly seeking. The bigger question right now is how to effectively get there. And what we appreciate right now for the masculine and the feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a moment that you are working to build that foundation for yourself at this moment by truly focusing on how to build that clarity in terms of what the next milestone is going to be, making sure that there is this mutual desire or understanding of those milestones that you are working to build for yourself at this time. There's a point right now that could be feeling like a point of difficulty for both masculine and feminine energy, because while you may be identifying and articulating what it is that you truly desire at this moment, there could be feeling like a lot of obfuscation as it relates to how to actually get there. But we see here that the purpose and the goal is very focused right now. For masculine and feminine energy, there is a unification right now. There is a unified desire right now to move towards that building of a strong, stable center. While for feminine, though, we are seeing that this is coming through as a bit more of a challenge point at this time, because something about this is challenging feminine's own ability or degree to feel some capacity of love, to feel like they're safe in their own expression of themselves at this time. Masculine energy that is working in union with the feminine right now is helping feminine overcome these hurdles. How are they helping them overcome these hurdles? By helping to create some of this clarity of the path as it relates to what those next steps are going to be. This is a mutual work that masculine and feminine are working on right now in union to help the feminine energy feel more secure about the direction that things are moving at this time. While for the feminine and masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is going to feel like a bit more of a challenging space, because what we're really seeing right now for the feminine energy is there is this moment that feminine energy is working with a lot of capacity and concentration on building this strong stability for themselves, building this foundation with a lot of focus and determination on what it is that they're truly hoping to achieve at this time. But the path ahead in terms of how to do so feels obfuscated. It feels somewhat foggy. Feminine energy is feeling some of that point of self-doubt. How is that feminine energy that is not in union working through that right now? They are concentrating on what they can create that feels stable and secure, with a lot of that focus, a lot of work right now in the tangible opportunities around the feminine right now to help them feel their own sense of stability and security expressed around them at this time. While for the masculine energy at this time, this is either coming through that is not in union. This is one of two different pathways that we are seeing here. For the masculine energy that is not in union, you are seeing to a certain degree that there is a focus, a clarity of purpose now in terms of what you are moving towards in this moment. There could even be for the masculine energy, this could be the direction of a particular feminine energy. However, this feminine energy could be in a space or place where they are not necessarily, or you have doubts about whether they are still emotionally or amorously available to you at this time. You are either working right now to build this sense of security and stability with this cautious feminine energy by articulating and identifying where things are ultimately going, or what your ultimate plans are as it relates to the union or the partnership. Or for the other part of the masculine collective right now that is going through this is a moment that you are identifying or articulating the fact that there is something around this energy that is effectively blocked towards you right now, because the feminine energy doesn't see that point of clarity, that don't see that point of future, but you are instead working with a lot of degree and concentration right now on building this stability for yourself at this moment, with a concentration towards your higher purpose, towards your higher calling, as you try to learn the lessons from that energy that is moving away from you at this time, with a recognition that there is something that could not be corrected here. So for masculine right now, this is really a moment of trying to identify if this is a situation or scenario where the feminine energy will be open and accessible and available to you, or if this is something that you have to effectively leave behind because you're recognizing to a certain extent that this energy is not going to be accommodating to having you come back in to a certain extent. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now. Fifth card in our 5-card spread before we start getting clarity on these cards at this moment is, we like this because we see here that even through, and we saw this yesterday in the cards, even through some of these adversities, even through some of these obstacles at this moment, masculine and feminine are putting a lot of care and attention into making a lot of immediate action towards their long-term plans and long-term goals. There is this moment right now for both masculine and feminine energy about correcting, finding a point of correction, identifying those places and spaces that you don't feel like you have the clarity, and putting a lot of effort and energy in trying to build that pathway right now. That pathway leading effectively to what that higher purpose, what that higher calling is. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union, this is a shared purpose. This is a shared drive that you are moving towards at this time. You are helping each other get that clarity of purpose as it relates to the path moving forward, putting this care and attention into what you can affect and change right now to drive that inspiration, to drive that passion forward at this moment. All for the sake of building strong foundations as you proceed forward from this point. For the feminine energy, for some of this is going to feel like more of a challenge at this time, even if you are in union, because something about this situation or circumstance is raising up around the feminine some distrust in their own emotionality. Feminine energy is feeling some of this distrust around their emotional center right now, closing off their own heart space right now, potentially, again, trying to take more of a logical approach to things as they try to overcome and navigate these spaces or places that they don't feel that they have full clarity and optics on. But what we do appreciate for the feminine energy that is feeling some of this blockage in the heart space right now, we see them taking and driving a lot of that channeled energy into the practical world right now, what they can immediately affect, as opposed to being in that space, recognizing that there is this degree of care they need to give themselves at this moment. While for the feminine energy that is not in union at this time, what we're really identifying is happening here is the feminine energy is feeling some doubts in their own self. They're feeling some caution as it relates to love, as it relates to relationships at this time. Feminine energy is instead working to build a lot of foundation around themselves at this moment, moving towards their higher purpose and calling, trying to build a point of clarity for themselves around anything that feels like it is obfuscated as it relates to that path ahead at this time, and putting all of their care and attention right now into clearing up any immediate blockages as it relates to the path and plan moving forward in the short term, to help them overcome some of this feeling of self-doubt that they're experiencing in the present right now. For masculine right now, this is a moment that if you are not in union, that you yourself are also doing a lot of this work for yourself at this time. You are putting a lot of care and attention into building a strong foundation on yourself, moving with a lot of intentionality and purpose in terms of your higher calling, your purpose, recognizing to a certain degree, feeling like you now understand the path ahead could be feeling very clear for the masculine at this moment. The problem is some obstruction point in terms of how to get there at this time. For masculine energy, there is a lot of care and attention trying to build this point of clarity. Again, either working to try to come back into union with a feminine energy that is at, for some degree or for some purpose, feeling like they are emotionally blocked off from you at this point. Potentially even trying to see if there is some path forward with this feminine energy. That is where we see this implementation of the Ace card in the Ace of Wands in its reversal. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, there could be a moment of surrender and acceptance in this moment, recognizing that there is something about this energy that has to indicate to you to some degree that there is no possibility, there is no productive outcome, there is no path ahead. Putting a lot of this care and attention instead into the self right now as you try to learn the lessons that you may have derived from this experience of this feminine energy effectively having to cut you off because they don't trust opening their own emotional center towards you. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, clarification between our Empress card and its reversal in combination with our Three of Pentacles. For feminine energy, there is this moment that is going to feel like a bit of a challenge today. Feminine energy is feeling some challenges in the heart space. This is going to come through right now as a doubt in one's own ability to love or to be loved. This is going to be having to work through a lot of potential trauma or difficulties that have been experienced as it relates to the realms of emotionality, as it relates to the realms of care and support. But what we like about seeing this right now for the feminine energy is even as simultaneously as feminine is doing a bit of this deep diving within themselves at this moment, there's a lot of care and consideration the feminine is paying right now to the firm foundations that feel like they are supporting them at this time, even as they experience this. This is feminine putting a lot of the tangible work and effort into aligning with that strong foundational energy. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, feminine energy is probably working right now on helping to continue to build a supportive assist system around them, energy that is experiencing this in union right now. This is simultaneously recognizing and seeing the feminine energy in this moment of potential need, seeing that there is something here around this feminine energy that is feeling like a bit of an emotional blockage or emotional hurdle that needs to be overcome today, but working a lot in union with that energy to continue to build a strong foundation to help navigate the feminine energy in terms of what they are feeling. While for the feminine and masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is going to feel like a bit more of a challenge, because for the feminine energy right now, this is a lot of work that you're potentially doing on your own at this time. Recognizing this need and ability to try to put a lot of concentration into building a strong, tangible foundation around yourself at this moment, even as emotionally you're going through some difficulty or hurdles as it relates to your own ability and degree of care of the self and your own feeling of emotional vulnerability as it relates to getting some of that support at this time. For masculine energy that is not in union, as we've been saying, this is that clarification between trying to build a foundation, trying to build this foundation with a feminine energy that is holding you at a distance for some reason. This could be something that has happened to them, happened between you in the past, or something that has happened from past experiences of the feminine energy that they have experienced thus far. You are either working right now to build a new foundation with this feminine energy to show them that you can be a place of support, even even through some of these hurdles that they are experiencing at this time. The understanding, if you will, on why the feminine energy is in this space, and working to try to fortify and build stability around the feminine energy so they will feel secure going forward towards you right now. While for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that this could be feeling like this is a point of ending or separation from this energy, of recognizing that there's something here that cannot be corrected, and you're working on building this foundation for yourself as you proceed forward from this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Thank you for the gift. In the King of Pentacles in its reversal. So we're seeing here that this is where we're seeing the articulation right now between the masculine and feminine energy. There are challenges that are coming through today for both masculine and feminine energy, though they are affecting and challenging them in different ways. What is happening right now that is creating a point of difficulty for the masculine energy? Feminine and masculine energy right now are in union because they are showing each other support even through points of setback or self-doubt. Masculine energy right now is feeling some anxiety about their own ability to create stability for themselves at this moment. Their own feeling of stability is being shaken at this time. And again, this is going to interpret to the masculine wherever you put that degree of concentration and where stability feels like at this moment. If it's in finances, you'll feel it there. If it's in relationships, you'll feel it there. There is something here that feels like it is shaking or testing your own degree of ability to hold in that space. But again, feminine energy is lending support to masculine right now, even as they are going through that, if you are in union energy, while masculine is showing emotional support right now to feminine energy as they themselves are feeling some rockiness around their own ability and care and degree of the self, or their own feeling of emotional belonging or acceptance, all to the degree of unifying and building this strong foundation and this commitment to that foundation, even through some of these setbacks and challenges. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union right now, this is going to feel a bit more difficult, because what we're really seeing here is for the masculine energy right now, again, as we've identified, for the masculine energy that is not in union right now, there's potentially a feminine energy that you are putting a lot of consideration towards right now, trying to build some access point to a feminine that for one reason or another is showing some point of caution, showing some point of degree, showing some point of emotional, not necessarily connecting emotionally with right now. You are working right now to try to build a point of stability, to try to convince or to try to show this energy in very tangible ways right now that you have the degree and capacity to build something that feels more stable, that will allow the feminine energy to feel like they are going to be able to be more emotionally open and vulnerable to you at this time. But again, finding the feminine energy in this space is also shaking your own degree or capacity or doubt in terms of whether this is going to be possible right now. This could be even feeling right now for the masculine like there's some kind of challenge that is arising right now between what this feminine energy may actually tangibly need to feel supported and stable and safe versus what you feel like you can actually offer at this time, right? This is coming through as some points of doubt or fear and anxiety in terms of, again, your own ability to provide that stable center for this feminine energy. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is work that you're doing potentially as you're navigating an emotional energy of a feminine that has shown you in some capacity that there isn't a way forward on this, that there isn't some accessibility point around this right now. Thank you for the gift. And you're working to try to build this stability for yourself at this moment, but this is feeling like a huge setback. It is feeling like a huge loss. It is feeling like that you're going through that difficulty in the fact that you are recognizing the fact that there's some lessons that had to be learned around this connection here, that you may now necessarily feel like you understand what you should have provided in this moment to a feminine energy, but now you effectively feel like you're not being given that opportunity to do so. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is just a moment that you yourself, again, for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is a lot of concentration towards your own personal growth. Feminine energy is feeling a lot of caution as it relates to letting other energy in, potentially as it relates to love and relationships right now. There are a lot of walls here, but feminine is working to build a lot of healthy, strong, protective walls around themselves and around their own life at this moment. And they're working with a lot of degree of concentration and capacity in preventing what from happening, my friends, in preventing unstable masculine energy to come in and effectively shake any of the foundations that they are trying to build around themselves at this time. So this is giving a lot of articulation point as to why the feminine energy is being so cautious around emotional vulnerability, around love, around connection at this time, because feminine energy is concentrating so hard right now in building this strong, stable foundation around themselves at this moment. Their major concentration, their major purpose right now is not allowing in any energy they feel is going to come in and effectively challenge or threaten or potentially destroy the foundations that they have been working so hard to build around themselves at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Three of Pentacles in combination with our Seven of Cups in its reversal. Again, beautiful energy that we are seeing here, both for masculine and feminine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine and feminine energy right now, there is a huge degree of concentration built and bent upon what you are trying to build that feels strong, that feels supportive, that feels tangibly accessible and available, and is going to allow, again, the feminine energy to feel like they're in a place where they feel emotionally safe, where masculine energy will feel in a place that they will feel tangibly safe. For the feminine and masculine energy that's working together right now, this is a pursued goal that you're working on in union at this moment with a lot of clarity and with a unified sense of purpose that is not deviating you in any point of distraction from what you truly are trying to achieve at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union, this is a lot of concentration on what you yourself are also trying to build that is going to feel like that. For the feminine, this is creating a strong and stable environment where you'll be able to feel more emotionally vulnerable as you continue to move in the direction of your higher purpose and goals at this time. While for masculine, again, that concentration and degree on what feels like it is tangibly stable, that it is creating that feeling and system of support for you at this moment, or helping you feel strong in that degree and capacity. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming as all the cards fall off the table. Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Pentacles. There's something really lovely about this, because what are we seeing? These are some extremely stabilizing cards here, my friends. This is that change of perspective that we are seeing right now in this moment. A lot of that rebirth cycle that we saw coming through with that Ten of Swords in its reversal that we received yesterday for our card of the day. Because what we're really identifying at this time right now is for both masculine and feminine energy, this is all about where you are going to invest your time and energy going forward. There is a feeling right now about not, again, moving from a space of distraction, not moving from a space that is going to deviate you from your path, rather wanting to invest and put your time and energy into those spaces and places that feel like they are creating a sense of stability, that are moving with a unified purpose and towards of those higher goals that you're working to achieve at this time. For both masculine and feminine energy, this is where they're trying to put their degree and capacity of care and attention to right now. And there's a feeling right now of nurturing, a feeling right now of growth, of building and planting and putting these seeds into the earth. This is very new energy. As I said, a lot of that Fool energy, as well as the rebirth energy that we witness with the Ten of Swords in its reversal, all with this clarity of purpose that is coming through right now in terms of wanting to make sure that there's a lot of care and attention into where you are planting those seeds at this time, all for the sake of continuing this effort in building something that feels strong, stable, and supportive at this moment for both masculine and feminine energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Four of Wands in its reversal. This is the challenge point for both masculine and feminine energy right now, because what we're really identifying is the clarity is there. The understanding, the drive in terms of what it is that you're truly seeking is there for both masculine and feminine at this time. Feeling like the veil has been lifted to a certain extent, not moving from a place or space of distraction, but really allowing your higher purpose or your higher calling to guide you forward on your path at this time. The tricky part is figuring out how to get there. There's some point right now that requires some orientation in terms of what that path looks like. For the masculine and feminine energy that's in union right now, this is a lot of clarifying right now, potentially especially around the short short term, to help unify on those short-term goals, to build that path going forward as you try to work to achieve that higher point energy in terms of what you're moving towards at this time. For the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is something that you're potentially trying to do for yourself at this moment. You are creating this path right now. You're understanding what it is that you're trying to move into right now, and you're trying to overcome any of the hurdles or blockages as it relates to your own optics in terms of how to reach it. For feminine energy right now, this is a lot of work that you're potentially doing as you lay down those plans and path for yourself at this time. We're also seeing for the masculine, this is potentially finding that path that's going to make you feel more stable and supported in the tangible space as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? There it is. King of Cups in its reversal. So this is going to feel like a bit of a difficulty point for the masculine energy today, because what we're really seeing here is this moment of feeling some degree of emotional overwhelm that is potentially occurring at this time. Because for the masculine energy right now, there is some addressing of some uncertainties as it relates to the short-term plan or short-term path ahead of you at this time that is creating a space that is emotionally difficult to you. It's putting you in a space of feeling some emotional overwhelm. Even for the masculine energy right now that is in union, because what we really see here is that for masculine energy, there's a lot of emotionality tied in some of the plans that are in the future right now. Some of these points of readjustment are very triggering and difficult for the masculine to manage right now. This is either working through adjustment points right now, or having to experience some setbacks as it relates to your plans going forward at this time that are emotionally triggering. But what we see, and could also be feeling like they're shaking your own feeling of stability at this time. But what we see here we appreciate is feminine energy is in a point that if you are in union with the masculine, even while you yourself are going through some emotional difficulties right now, you are working right now to continue to build that stable, supportive system for the masculine energy as they continue forward from this point. Again, with a concentration on the long-term growth as opposed to overcoming some of the immediate setbacks or hurdles that are being encountered at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is going to feel like a bit more challenging energy, because what we're seeing for the masculine right now is, again, there is a lot of care and concentration right now towards a feminine that you would like to move towards that is effectively the object of your desire, wanting to build some kind of strong, stabilizing energy around them at this time. But there's a feeling right now of, again, having this clarity of purpose as it relates to what you're trying to move towards right now, if this is a feminine energy that is that higher purpose that you're trying to reach, and feeling this point of frustration and recognizing that this feminine energy is at a point of distance from you right now. There is a lack of trust or a lack of emotional availability. This is shaking your own feelings of stability at this time, and it's also very emotionally triggering and difficult for you because you're not seeing that path forward, which is why the masculine energy is putting a lot of care and attention right now and trying to clear that path, trying to see if there is this possibility of forging this path forward with this energy, or having to deal with some of the emotional hurdle potentially today in terms of navigating whether that isn't going to be possible at this time. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is something that may have already been experienced. This could have been a moment right now that you've already experienced some point of feeling cut off to a certain degree from a feminine energy, and you are feeling the frustration, the uncertainty about how to move forward from this point right now, even as you're trying to focus on creating that path for yourself alone right now in terms of your own path, but feeling at the same time a lot of emotional overwhelm today and some anxieties as it relates to feeling that point of stability in this moment. So this could be feeling like a very rocky day for masculine today. For feminine, it's going to feel like a bit more emotional rocky, because what we're really identifying for the feminine right now is, again, there is a clarity of purpose right now for feminine energy. There's also an point of orientation right now and feeling some anxiety as it relates to what that path looks like going forward in terms of that higher purpose, in terms of that higher path. And again, if you're in union right now with masculine, you are feeling a point of emotional disadvantage right now around your heart space, and you are also seeing it similarly in the masculine energy, who's also building that point of overwhelm right now. You are working right now, though, to build that sense of stability and security, a safe space, if you will, as you both continue to feel some of this emotional trigger point that we see that today is creating. But for the masculine and for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is a moment that's giving you some point of orientation as it relates to your own degree and decision in terms of what it is that you're truly after. Feminine energy is experiencing or recognizing some expression of a masculine energy, potentially, either one from the past right now that they're looking to shed, or one that they're actively experiencing that is showing some potential degree or capacity of not being able to maintain a point of emotional balance. For the feminine energy that's not in union right now, there's a recognition that when the masculine energy isn't in a point of emotional balance, it makes it difficult to be able to anticipate what is going to happen in the future. Why can't the feminine energy anticipate what is happening in the future? Because when the feminine energy is working with an emotionally volatile or unpredictably emotionally volatile or, unregulated masculine energy, the future is always a question mark. That's what feminine energy is really identifying right now, which is, again, that moment and this degree that feminine energy is working to build this point of stability at this moment, not wanting to effectively try to build towards a masculine energy that's showing in some way, shape, or form that they can't maintain a level or degree of emotional balance because what they've experienced either from the past or that they're actively experiencing is an understanding of when they allow this more volatile or dysregulated masculine energy into their heart space, then that leads to a point that they can never be certain about what the future looks like. There's always that point of volatility. There's always that point of anxiety because there's never any complete understanding about where they're going to find the masculine on an emotional level to allow that degree and capacity of being able to feel that secure center. Feminine energy is now getting clarity on this right now, which is why they're working right now to build this deeper, stable environment, putting the care and attention in and being extremely, profoundly cautious about allowing masculine energy in, not wanting to create these moments that may create further disruptions as they try to pursue their higher calling and their higher goals at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Wands in its reversal. We like seeing these cards together, my friends. This is why we like to see these cards together right now, because what we're really identifying that's happening right now is it is not the fact that there isn't a point of a lack of observation or understanding about those short-term plans, about those short-term goals, about those short-term milestones, maybe even some disruption that is occurring around some of those plans that you laid for yourself right now that is requiring a point of readjustment. But what we really appreciate right now is there's a lot of tangible work that is effectively being put in right now to build these points of clarity, to build clarity, to build and see this path forward. Tangible work right now, putting that energy and effort in, all to the extent of understanding that building this clarity will help you feel more secure as you go forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Nine of Wands. Do you see all of this wand energy that we are experiencing here? So this is the bit of the challenge point here, right? This is a bit of a challenge point because while we see that this is occurring right now, while we identify that this is occurring, there is this moment that is feeling like you're doing it from a space of caution, of anxiety, of wounds, right? Why are we seeing these wounds? Well, for masculine energy right now, there's a lot of feeling of insecurity that's potentially coming through right now, especially in the emotional realm and your own feelings of stability at this moment. There's something here that you are feeling shaken on for masculine energy in union or out of union right now. And this is making you kind of approach some of this clarification point from a point of trepidation, from a point of uncertainty. You're doing everything you can to accommodate for some of this lack of clarity about what the future looks like right now. But you're feeling very triggered. Masculine energy is feeling profoundly triggered about where they find themselves in this moment as they try to clear up what that future looks like at this time. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is you are experiencing this trepidation too, but you're experiencing it from the space of your heart space. Feminine's heart space is like a little bit like Fort Knoxy at this point. They're working really hard to keep their heart space open. We've been seeing this be a challenge point for the feminine energy back and forth for over the last few days. Feminine energy right now is simultaneously also experiencing a bit of a trigger point as it relates to their own ability to feel that point of self-love, to feel that point of self-appreciation. That's coming through with the feminine energy being as receptive and available to appreciation of the self at this time versus the appreciation or the love they're able to give others at this time. Feminine energy right now is trying to work to build some clarification right now in terms of what those short-term plans, what those short-term milestones look like at this time, but they're doing it all as well from a point of deep caution. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a mutual burden that you are effectively sharing and communicating on as you try to build this clarity of optics on the future for yourselves, putting a lot of care and attention into it at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this moment, this is the point of clarification that you're effectively trying to see from the energy that is around you at this time. For feminine energy, there's potentially a masculine energy that is potentially trying to come towards you right now, that you are feeling some uncertainty. I will even say that for some of the feminine collective right now, this is either a single masculine energy that is embodying these qualities, some concerns around their own stability that they can create right now, as well as their emotional center. For all of the other part of the feminine energy right now, this could be more than one masculine energy that you feel is approaching you at this time, that you're feeling some doubts or uncertainties with, based on whether they're in a space where they can be emotionally balanced or whether they have that degree or capacity of creating something that feels stable for you. I will point out, this is not a point of financial stability. We're not talking about financial stability here. It's wherever you put that sense of stability in terms of feeling like the energy itself is stable. But we are seeing some signs that feminine energy is very concerned about the emotional stability of the masculine energy, even in the face of challenges around the tangible here. For feminine energy, this is that point of caution about opening up their heart space at this moment, even as they're trying to lay plans and clarify and build that path forward for themselves at this time. While for masculine energy right now, there is this moment of potentially, I'm seeing, trying to move towards a feminine energy that, again, you may be experiencing some blockages with, that this feminine energy is either being found at a point that they're cautious in this way, or that some situations or scenarios have happened with you and this energy from the past that has led the feminine energy to be cautious of you, to not necessarily completely be open and vulnerable to you at this time. And you yourself are trying to work from a point of trepidation as you try to build that point of clarity to see if there is some future possibility of amending here, or if this feminine energy is completely cut off to you to a certain degree. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Pentacles in combination with our Seven of Pentacles. For masculine energy right now, we really appreciate this, because what we're really seeing here, masculine energy, this is, can I just show you this? Can I show you how these energies are just reflecting each other? And I have a feeling it has a bit to do with the Venus in retrograde that we're in right now. Feminine and masculine energy are both having a moment of feeling some feelings of personal setback at play. Feminine energy is feeling it in the heart space right now. Feminine energy is feeling it in their own degree or capacity to receive or give love at this time. But feminine energy is turning their attention into what feels stable to help them through this time. Feminine energy is putting this care and attention into creating stability at this time. What is creating that stable, supportive system as feminine experiences this? Masculine energy is doing the exact same thing. Masculine energy is feeling that expression in their own doubts and fears of stability at this time as well. But what are they doing in the process? They are putting a lot of care and attention in what they're trying to grow going forward that will help create stability. We appreciate this because this masculine feminine energy, even if you're not in union, everybody's in the same, everybody's moving in the same goal. Everybody wants to create the stability today. It's just a question about what feels stable and what does not. For masculine and feminine energy right now, this is the goal. For masculine, this is feeling a point of personal lack of stability at this time, but putting that care and attention into what you can grow to help build that stability going forward from this point. For feminine energy right now, this is again, if you are working in union with a masculine energy that is expressing or feeling this point of rockiness as it relates to their own stability at this time. You are doing everything you can to help lay the plans, to help this masculine energy see what can be built, what can be grown upon at this time. Putting those clearing that path for the future to help the masculine energy through their own emotional hurdles at this time around stability. While for the feminine and masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is the trouble point. This is the trouble point, because what we're really seeing here right now is for the feminine energy that is feeling like their heart space is blocked. Feminine energy is putting a lot of care and attention right now in what they're growing and what they're trying to build, with a lot of care and anxiety about whether the masculine energy that is around them right now is simultaneously also focused on what is going to be growing, what can flourish from this point. Not so much a concentration on immediate needs, immediate gratification, immediate desires, but really looking towards the masculine energy to see whether they are also committed to that same level and degree of growth about what this could turn into as they go forward from this point. Feminine energy is using this as their barometer as they focus on creating stability for themselves at this moment, even potentially at the detriment, even releasing any emotional attachments right now that may potentially feel that they have an emotional attachment to, but they don't feel is as dedicated to creating this sense of stability and growth right now. While for the masculine energy that is not in union right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you yourself are feeling the challenges in terms of what it is that you're trying to grow. You may even, if you are in a masculine that is not in union right now, see now that there is a feminine energy that you do want to grow with, that you want to build something with, that you now recognize that either, again, this is an energy from a past or a new energy that you are now focusing on. But feeling like this feminine energy is not completely emotionally vulnerable or available to you at this time. Feeling the anxiety because there's something here about trying to show some degree and commitment that the fact is that you are able to grow in this capacity. But again, either fearing that there's something about what is being communicated that shows a lack of your own ability to match the feminine energy in terms of what it is that they're trying to grow. This could be feeling like a lot of tangible hurdles right now that the masculine is potentially experiencing around a feminine that they want to move towards right now, in terms of what they can offer versus what that energy needs to feel safe and supported at this time, versus the other part of the masculine energy right now that could be feeling like there is a commitment now to grow towards a feminine that now is in a way not necessarily leaving you access because they don't feel like they can feel like you are coming through as stable and supportive, and that is what's cutting you off to a certain extent. For masculine energy, this is trying to redouble and commit your energy towards this feminine to try to show them that you can, in fact, again, a lot of that change energy that we saw in the cards yesterday, that you're able to affect the change necessary to come forward as a stable, supportive system. Or for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is a moment of feeling a deep loss or feeling a deep point of stability, lack of stability, because you recognize that there's something around this feminine energy that there isn't potentially anything you can do at this time that is going to help amend the feminine energy's own fears at this time of your lack of stability. So instead, you're learning the valuable lesson from this experience to help you build and grow in a more positive direction as you go forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with 9 of Pentacles. This is that concentration point, trying to create something that feels stable and supportive for both masculine and feminine energy. For the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union, look at all of these Pentacle cards that are at play here. It's really interesting because we're seeing here that communication and grounding right now are super important. Feminine and masculine energy. There's a lot of concentration, potentially even in your own immediate space, putting this work and capability right now in not only what you can grow at this time, but trying to find as much comfort in the present moment as possible. This is where we see that stability coming through right now. Look at all of this Pentacle energy. That is what we're looking for in terms of the sweet spot right now. Finding that ability of feeling comfort in your own moment and then feeling security in what you're trying to grow at this time. Masculine energy is helping themselves through a moment where you yourself might not be feeling as stable, as secure as you would ideally like at this time, but you are navigating this space by concentrating on these two abilities at this time, creating as comfortable as possible an environment for you in the present, while also focusing on what you are trying to grow going forward that will help you in this moment of feeling a lack of stability at this moment. For masculine and feminine energy that's working in union right now, this is a unified purpose and unified goal that you're working on. Feminine energy could even be helping the masculine energy through any of these feelings of instability that they're experiencing at this moment, with a concentration on these two aspects, even as they themselves are feeling some emotional issues at this time as it relates to their own commitment to their own emotionality. Feminine's working through them to a certain extent today by putting that commitment into the tangible space, into what they can affect, even as they're going through some blockages in the heart space at this moment. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is feeling like more of a challenge area, because again, for the feminine energy right now, we are seeing that the feminine energy that is not in union right now is extremely committed in building something that feels stable and supportive for themselves as they go forward from this point. In fact, to the fact, I will point, feminine energy is almost accepting to the detriment of their own emotional center. Feminine energy, to a certain extent, we're seeing here, this is very Venus retrograde vibes here. A lot of the feminine energy that is not in union right now isn't putting a lot of care and attention right now into relationships so much, because they're putting a lot of caution in terms of the masculine energy that they're allowing towards them at this time, focusing very much on what they are feeling comfortable with in this moment, making themselves feel like they're at this point of comfort and stability, and also with a concentration on building and continuing to grow that stability going forward from this time, with a lot of it, thank you for the gift, with a lot of concentration at this moment on whether the masculine energy is helping them feel this level and degree of support in terms of what they're growing at this time, or if they are working against that path, if they're causing a point of challenge in this that is not necessarily in alignment with what feminine energy is trying to grow for themselves and build at this moment. Feminine energy is looking for counterpart energy right now that is committed on the same path of them, not one that's going to require them to deviate from that path at this moment. For feminine energy, that is why there is this concentration and care right now being expressed in terms of what energy they're moving towards at this moment. While for masculine energy that's not in union at this time, this is simultaneously a path that you yourself are trying to build for yourself at this time. A lot of concentration in terms of what you are trying to grow, what feels stable and supportive going forward at this time, with a lot of concentration on your own sense of comfort at this moment. And again, there is this concentration right now towards a feminine energy that you may potentially have now decided that you want to grow with in this capacity. But for whatever reason, in whatever way, shape, or form right now, there's something about this feminine energy that now feels that it is somewhat inaccessible to you. That could have been because of past experiences with this energy, or the fact that this energy is coming from a place of having a lot of guard up at this time. You are doing this moment in terms of building this supportive system for yourself at this time, to kind of try to show the feminine energy that is doubting your own ability to create this stability, that you have the capability, you have the capacity of creating this for them at this moment, and you're committing to the path of growing it with them at this time. For the other part, and that recognizing that that point of stability is what the feminine needs in order to feel available to you again. Well, for the other part of the masculine energy right now, there could be feeling like this is a moment that you are feeling some degree of loss or difficulty, recognizing that that energy is not one that feels like you can provide this to them. That there's something about either the past experiences that you've had with them in terms of you creating a lack of stability in their own life, or giving through right now in the fact that there's something about the misalignment in terms of what you can offer at this moment versus what it is that they're seeking, that is making you feel a point of stability as you do a lot of this building for yourself at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Pentacles in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. For masculine energy right now, there is this moment of feeling some degree of emotional overwhelm at this time, with a lot of care and attention right now in terms of what it is that you're growing, what it is that you're building at this moment, in order to allow yourself that degree and capacity of focus and attention on this. But for the masculine energy, this is a point that feels like a bit of emotional overwhelm that's happening, because there's something that's coming through here that is also challenging your own feeling of stability at this moment. But masculine energy is overcoming that emotional overwhelm by putting that focus on what is being grown at this time. While for feminine energy, if you are working in union with a masculine energy, you are helping a masculine energy navigate some of this emotional overwhelm while focusing on that long-term growth, on what you're trying to build at this moment, not letting yourself get caught in any immediate setbacks, but again, letting this be a point of reorientation and calibration as you proceed forward from this point. While for the masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is a moment that is feeling very emotionally overwhelming. Again, because either you are working to get in union again with the feminine energy that has effectively blocked you in some capacity or has a lot of barriers up at this time, but you're putting a lot of care and attention in terms of what you can grow going forward to help amend this situation or circumstance. Or simultaneously, for this masculine energy that's moving away from this energy, this is you putting a lot of this care and attention into the future right now as you're trying to navigate some of this emotional overwhelm that you're experiencing from this point of loss around a feminine energy that isn't effectively showing you that there is a path forward at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, we like this. This is our sun card coming out again. We appreciate this because there is a lot of degree and concentration right now in bringing in a point of optimism. For the masculine and feminine energy right now that is in union, this is what the feminine energy is trying to bring towards the masculine energy that is feeling some of this emotional overwhelm at this time by giving this point of positivity, of helping the masculine energy keep their positive outlook, keep their positive mindset, focus on the long-term path and the long-term plan ahead to immediately overcome any of the immediate setbacks that are being experienced at this time. While for masculine energy right now, simultaneously, masculine energy is effectively potentially helping the feminine energy that is feeling some of this anxiety and doubt and fear, again, based on the future as well, by, again, building in terms of what is being grown and what the plans are going forward, bringing this sense of light and optimism into the fold. We love to see this for both masculine and feminine. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is how you're effectively overcoming this work. For the feminine energy right now that is working right now to build and grow, as we've seen, there's a lot of care and attention right now towards the masculine energy that's around you to really ask whether it is coming in up towards you in a way that is showing a degree and capacity of building strong stability and also strong emotional stability. But even what we appreciate for the feminine energy right now, if the feminine energy isn't seeing that degree and capacity of openness right now towards a masculine energy, feminine energy is just concentrating on their own growth. And they're concentrating on their own sense of positivity at this time, recognizing that they need effectively a balanced masculine energy to come forward to be able to grow with. This is why that feminine energy is in the space of allowing this concentration on the self, even to the point of potentially abandoning anything that romantically that they're like having to cut off their emotions on to a certain degree, because there's this focus on stability at this time, on what feels realistic, what feels like it is actually going to create something that feels stable going forward, as opposed to immediate emotional gratification. Well, for the masculine energy right now that is going through this is again a point of overwhelm, because you are either recognizing that there is a feminine energy that you need to put considerable time and energy into growing with again, that there is a slow growth that is required here to come back into connection to show this feminine energy that you are in fact capable of having and enacting this change, which feels somewhat overwhelming but is creating this point of positivity for you going forward from this time. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are trying to navigate a feeling of overwhelm by keeping your positivity, trying to keep a positive outlook, even as you're letting go of an energy that isn't necessarily accessible or available to you at this time, by focusing on what that path ahead looks like, what it is that you're trying to grow for yourself as you go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our King of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Wands in its upright. So a moment right now for masculine energy that again is going to feel like a bit of a challenge today, particularly for the masculine energy, because we're seeing here that not only are you in a state right now of feeling some stability some rockiness of stability, but you're also feeling like there's a lot of emotionality attached to that right now. And it's putting you in this space of feeling somewhat overly defensive. It's putting you in a space of feeling somewhat overly protective right now. You're navigating this space right now, and it's difficult because like it effectively is having you put your guard up at this time, even as you are experiencing it. While for the feminine, again, you are either working at similarly, your guard is also up, but your guard is up in the area of the heart space. So masculine and feminine to a certain extent are reflecting each other at this time. Feminine energy is working in a space of having a lot of this guard up towards being very cognizant, either again working in collaboration with a masculine energy that you recognize is in a space where they themselves are going through some emotional hurdles and setbacks at this time. You are simultaneously working to take care of each other, to protect each other as you navigate this space. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is feeling a bit different. Feminine energy is effectively still has their guard up. What does feminine energy have their guard up around? Imbalanced masculine energy. Masculine energy that's shown some way, shape, or degree of not being able to maintain emotional balance, because feminine energy recognizes the setbacks and hurdles and the difficulty that it occurs when they allow masculine energy that cannot stay in a point of emotional balance into their experience. Feminine energy has a lot of these guards up, hence that Empress energy in its reversal right now. Feminine energy is either working immediately in collaboration with a masculine energy that is trying to come back in towards them right now, but the feminine energy now has doubts about that masculine's emotional stability. Or simultaneously right now, feminine energy is scrutinizing a lot of the masculine energy that's coming towards them at this moment to assess whether they feel like they are available or able to stay in a point of emotional balance, or if they're just going to cause further injury. While for masculine energy, this is being, again, simultaneously in a space where, because the feminine energy has these walls up, you are feeling emotionally overwhelmed. Some of the masculine energy right now, you're feeling some of this emotional overwhelm because you may be discovering and recognizing and understanding why the feminine energy has these walls up towards you in the first place. This could be masculine energy potentially recognizing how their own emotional volatility to a certain extent has led up to this point with the feminine energy, and now they themselves are trying to navigate the space that they've been put in because of that point of objectivity and observation. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is a work that you're trying to do to bring these walls down. Trying to do that internal work to bring these walls down, to let the feminine energy know that it is safe to be in this point with you. While for the other part of the masculine energy, this is feeling like a point of emotional overwhelm because you feel like these walls are not coming down. You feel like these walls are staying up very strongly, and it is creating this sense of emotional overwhelm for you as you experience it. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Wands in its reversal. It's shaking your own faith. It's shaking your own confidence at this time, masculine. This feeling that you're experiencing right now, this is the problem. We see here, even for the masculine and feminine energy that is in union at this time, there's a lot of degree right now for the masculine energy that is feeling like there is this point of uncertainty that we're experiencing. For masculine energy right now, there is this moment that you, or if you are in union right now, that you are working through, that you are experiencing some kind of emotional hurdle. You are recognizing that there are these walls that are up right now within you, that you kind of have something has triggered this feeling of anxiety, or putting this feeling of protection on it. And it's making you feel some uncertainty in terms of how to move forward in some way. It's taking your own confidence with it as it goes. It's making the masculine energy be in the space of uncertainty as it relates to not only how you're feeling at this moment, but how you want to communicate at this time. It's like that mutual feeling of the overwhelm of the emotionality based as well with the communication at this moment that feels like such a trigger, and that they're moving right now from a space of feeling a lot of these walls being up at this time in terms of experiencing some of these blockages. For feminine energy right now, this is potentially recognizing that the masculine energy is in this point of emotional overwhelm. It's simultaneously, even if you're in union right now, making you effectively feel guarded to a certain extent, because you are recognizing that the masculine energy right now is in a space where they can't effectively come towards you in the way that they would like you would ideally desire, right? That there's something here about this masculine energy being kind of blocked in their own sense right now, having to navigate their own hurdles right now. Feminine energy that's working in union right now with masculine energy is helping the masculine energy through a lot of these feelings right now. There's a lot of reverse masculine energy here. Their own doubts, their own fears, their own inability to communicate what they're feeling. But it's also simultaneously working at a point that's very difficult because the feminine energy themselves are going through a point that is also challenging. So everyone is coming from at this point right now of having a lot of these guards up. Even the energy that's in union right now, working through, pushing through your own guards to like help build that point of clarity about what the future looks like at this time. For the feminine energy right now, that is not in union, this is effectively why the feminine energy is moving from a space right now of having so much guard up, because feminine energy is effectively in this space right now where, again, feminine energy is not necessarily is feeling a lot of anxiety and caution about letting the wrong energy towards them at this time. Feminine energy is worried about not only masculine energy potentially coming towards them that is emotionally imbalanced, but also masculine energy that is only seeking their own passion, is only seeking their own physicality, that's only looking for something that is immediate instead of long term. As I said, for some of the feminine energy, this is all potentially one masculine energy that this anxiety and caution is based around at this time. While for others, this could be multiple manifestations of masculine energy that you are scrutinizing very, very, very carefully, because you are being very cautious about who you let in, wanting to make sure that these energies are coming towards you in the right way, instead of allowing someone in that may cause further injury. For masculine energy right now, this is where you're experiencing the blockage. You are feeling the tangible fact that the feminine, that is, if you're not in union right now, has a lot of guards up. Their guard is up. There's this feminine energy that either has their guard up because of past experiences with you that they have led this point of feeling anxiety about your own consistency or your own emotional availability, or this is because the feminine energy has past experiences that have really put up a lot of walls around this energy, and they're moving from a state of deep, deep caution as it relates to allowing someone in. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is trying to navigate and express and clarify that this is not where you are, to be able to get back in union with this energy, to show them that you're trying to build something that is stable and supportive and safe. While for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is feeling a point that is creating a sense of emotional overwhelm and also frustration, because you feel like there is a wall here that cannot come down, that you are not necessarily seeing any possibility of being able to bring down. And that is what's creating this like inspirational challenge for you, as well as an emotional challenge at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Nine of Pentacles in combination with our Sun card. So this is some of that like bright horizon that we like to see here, okay? Because what we're really identifying is for both masculine and feminine energy, the solution to this is really putting a lot of care and attention in terms of what feels comfortable for you at this moment. What is creating a sense of comfort? What is creating a sense of support? What is focusing on that supportive energy around you at this time? And it's through that you're finding this point of optimism. You're putting in a way a lot of that direction for both masculine and feminine energy, even as it relates to some of these setbacks or challenges that you're feeling at this time, is just building the sense or presence of immediacy in your own environment at this time. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is putting that care and attention on the immediate environment around yourself right now and focusing on the bright side. Well, for the energy that is not in union right now, this is putting a readjustment, putting that refocus in building your own sense of comfort at this time, while you focus a mindset of positivity going forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now. This is why we are seeing that there needs to be this like attention and connection right now to the immediate environment, because there's something here that I'm getting here. It's like easier said than done, if you will, as it relates to this approach. Because what we're really identifying here is while there is While there is this focus right now and this attention on building this sense of ease, of comfort in your own immediate environment, there's also something coming through right now around your own anxieties about solitude, about isolation. That this is that moment that, again, you're focusing on the positive at this moment, even while you're feeling some degree of difficulty as it relates to finding that peace and comfort in that point of solitude at this moment. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is something that you are sharing or navigating together. We've seen this coming up over the last few days. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, there could be a feeling of requiring some degree of alone time, wanting to have some degree of finding a point of having some solitude, but being unable to reach it or get to it at this time. But focusing on trying to find a point of easement to make your own environment easier as you go, to help build these places and spaces to have this type of solitude for yourself as you go forward. While for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is a bit of a challenge space, because while we see that there is this like care and degree and attention that you're playing right now into building this sense of easement in your own environment right now, there is still this feeling or difficulty as it relates to finding peace and solitude that is something that you are actively working through right now. Almost not allowing those anxieties of solitude to disrupt your own peace at this time is a part of the challenge on your journey thus far. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Sun card in combination with our Knight of Wands in its reversal. So for both masculine and feminine energy, this is going to feel a bit different. For masculine energy right now, this is feeling some type of creative blockage right now, either in the realm of your own ability to communicate at this time or moving forward on your own passions to a certain degree. For the masculine energy right now that is in union with feminine, this is something that the feminine is effectively trying to work through right now with you by trying to keep a positive outlook, even as they themselves are experiencing some emotional hurdles that they are also experiencing at this time. This could be feeling like a lot of blockages potentially in the realms of passion right now for both masculine and feminine energy, because feminine's in its Empress in its reversal, masculine's got their Knight of Wands in its reversal. A lot of like loss of passion in this moment as you kind of like focus on the positive situations going forward from this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is masculine, again, experiencing some immediate setbacks as it relates to driving forward on your passion, potentially towards a feminine energy that is, again, effectively blocked or isn't open or receptive to you in the heart space at this time. But for the masculine energy working to get back into union with this feminine energy, you're recognizing that there is this point of positivity, and this is helping you navigate this feeling of the immediacy of the setback. Well, for the masculine energy that is feeling this on a deeper level, that is feeling like this isn't something that can be changed or amended, you are trying to focus on the positive right now, even as you're experiencing the frustration of the setback as it relates to your own passion at this time. For feminine, this is a moment that, again, this is a lot of isolating energy for the feminine, a lot of focus right now on these points of positivity towards not allowing in masculine energy that you feel is only serving their own passions, is only serving their own drives, is only serving their own needs. Feminine energy is keeping their positivity, even if they're closing up their heart space at this moment, with a commitment to not allowing this fickle or non-committal energy back in. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Magician, which is beautiful because this is all about working to achieve what you're trying to manifest at this moment for both feminine and masculine energy. For feminine and masculine energy right now that's in union, this is where we're seeing that there's something about this being a momentary setback. Feminine and masculine energy right now are going through a point. The feminine is feeling a lot of this setback in their heart space right now. Masculine is feeling a lot of this in the realm of their own ability to drive forward their communication and passion at this time. But they're unifying their goals right now in terms of maintaining a point of optimism and doing what they can to make a point of adjustment at this time to create what they're trying to create for themselves at this moment. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is that change energy that we've been talking about. Feminine energy is committing right now deeply to their own personal journey of change. Feminine energy is doubling down in terms of how they are trying to change, moving away from energy that they feel puts them in a space of feeling underseen, underappreciated, underloved, underrespected, undervalued. And that change is keeping a point of optimism in terms of what they're trying to change within themselves, even as they move away from any energy that they feel is not simultaneously committed to that same degree of change at this time. For the feminine energy right now, this is looking at the masculine energy. If this is old energy that's coming towards them that has had a history of being in this way, this is feminine energy looking at them and trying to decide if they're showing this capability and degree of changing, even as they're focusing on their own positive commitment to that change. While for the other part of the collective right now, this is potentially a moment that you are pushing away and rejecting this energy because you yourself are not seeing the possibility of this energy showing that commitment or degree of an ability to change in the light of you continuing to do this work for yourself as you proceed forward from this point. While for masculine energy right now, this is again a moment that you are feeling called to change. There's something here that is requiring a change on the masculine side. For the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is that work of personal growth. Again, observing that there is a feminine energy that is either, again, holding some walls up towards you because of past experiences wherein they don't feel that you are coming forward in a committed, sincere fashion. They're allowing this access point if you're showing this degree and ability to change. And if you are committed to that journey, then even though you are feeling immediately blocked, you are feeling that point of optimism because you recognize that you are also committing yourself to this process of higher growth, higher change in terms of divine union ability. While for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you may be recommitting to your own degree of change. That there's something that you are now orienting on, that's something that you are potentially feeling is lost to you, some potential opportunity of a feminine that you are wanting to move towards that is your heart's desire. But you are seeing some way, shape, or form that this feminine energy is not necessarily convinced that you have this degree or capacity to change. And this is a commitment that you are making to your own journey and to your own self at this point as you proceed forward from this point. Allowing some degree to allow this change to be an internal factor happening within to amend and not to have this happen as you go forward from this point. Final point of clarification right now between our Hermit energy in its reversal and the Magician energy. Two extremely powerful major arcana cards coming to the fold right now. What are we seeing here right now? For masculine and feminine energy right now, what we are really identifying is this is a moment of profound transformation that is effectively occurring at this moment. For both masculine and feminine energy. For masculine energy, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that you yourself are committing to a process of transformation. You are allowing, masculine and feminine are allowing this to be a moment of transformation. What is triggering this moment of transformation? A discomfort in isolation. For the masculine and feminine energy right now that is in union, this is potentially trying to find and reclaim some degree or ability to find a point of comfort in isolation, of addressing this in order to affect even better change around circumstances or scenarios. This can also be talking about any kind of setbacks as it relates to the plans moving forwards thus far. But what we love to see with the Hermit in its reversal in terms of the Magician is you're not letting yourself fall into a point of sadness or despair around anything that isn't creating that clarity. Instead, you're moving with a lot of commitment into allowing this point to be a point of change, to lend that sight, to lend that clarity around situations and circumstances that you feel you do not have that point of clarification on. For both masculine and feminine energy, we are seeing here that this is a hurdle, an obstacle. For feminine and masculine energy that's not in union, this could even be feeling like there is this lack of clarity, or also a feeling of uncertainty or inability to find comfort in solitude right now. But you are taking a lot of work right now to affect these changes so that you feel more comfortable, so that you feel more secure, so that you feel like you have that clarity of purpose as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the World card. So this is really beautiful energy. Look at this major arcana that we are ending with today, because what we're really seeing is occurring here for both masculine and feminine energy. is this is that moment that we are reaching where you are seeing that there is this care and degree right now in terms of getting that optics, getting that understanding of what you need to see and what you need to know in order to affect the change that you're trying to affect right now on your life right now, and recognizing that this is a flow point, trying to get into this space of finding that point of easement, allowing things to be easier as you go forward from this point. And this is something that both masculine and feminine energy are working on in this capacity. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a collaborative effort that you're putting in mutual observation right now in terms of what you're trying to grow and build at this time to come into this deeper sense of flow. For the masculine and feminine energy not in union right now, this is a personal journey that you yourself are committed to. This is where we see your path leading. And it is requiring a lot of internal work. There's some changes that both masculine and feminine energy that are not in union right now recognize are happening on the internal level, that they're having to face some things that they don't feel like they have full clarity on, all to the point of coming into this higher sense of flow, coming into this space of balance for themselves at this moment. Feminine energy is committed to this journey, especially as it relates to their own love of the self and thereby the energy that they allow towards them at this point. While for masculine, this is a lot of addressing potentially how they come, like your own sense of emotional balance at this time, and how you are able to move and navigate as you go through a point of emotional imbalance or feeling some tangible instability or insecurity. All for that point of easement as you proceed forward from this point. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is 10 of Pentacles in its upright. So there is this feeling that I feel like there is a point of frustration here, because as we see, there's something deeper at hand here about being able to feel like a lot of this work and a lot of this journey that we're seeing has a lot to do with a lot of internal journeying right now, a lot of internal work for both masculine and feminine energy. There is this feeling and need right now of wanting to be able to find that community, or finding that essentially that group around you that feel will also have your back, which will also be supportive at this time. Feminine and masculine energy are paying a lot of attention to this at this moment, and there may be some anxieties right now as it relates to what's happening in your immediate sphere of influence or the energy around you right now that is creating some feeling of disruption, even as you try to create and build this for yourself at this moment. Recognizing that, again, in a way, this energy of those around you are kind of like the building blocks that you are trying to achieve at this moment to allow you to feel that sense of, again, stability, security, in which that you can truly thrive and grow as you proceed forward from this point. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, Strega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind that I will never reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way that you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website, Strega.com. Please keep in mind as well that booking a reading on my website is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading with me. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.